Welcome to the channel, guys. I had to put the camera there because now it's a bit stable, and I have to speak quite loud because my microphone didn't work. So today I really only want to talk about what is actually the best, cheapest electric car you can buy, and is it okay to buy them used. So if you talk about an electric car, it is a car that is be able to be used like a car. So it's of course you have a lot of small tiny cars made of plastic and driving electric in Asia and a bit everywhere, but they are not real cars. So when a car is become a car is when it has all the features, some like traction control and ABS, and you can sit with a few people inside, comfortable, you feel safe, and you can follow the traffic like everyone else, and of course you have some range. So it's a bit depending on country to country, but in Europe and in Norway, I think the cheapest car to own today in 2020 is a used iMIV, the one I'm driving now. If you think about cost for the next 5 years, well, if you bring it to the workshop every year for checkup and a service, so they check your brakes, your brake liquid, your air conditioning and all that stuff, not much could happen. And if you give it a anti-rust treatment, the car shouldn't rust away. I have some videos out, just check out to what to do with the rust on the iMIV, because they rust like hell, these little cars. But what is the cheapest car? I have a lot of questions about that, and a lot of people are comparing the iMIV with other electric cars, like for example the Nissan Leaf, like for example the e-Golf. Of course it's not comparable because the iMIV, it's a very little electric car. So you have to compare apples with apples and pears with pears, right? So I had some people asking me if it was okay to buy a used iMIV. Yes, of course it's okay to buy a used iMIV, but not if you are working 60 kilometers from home, and not if you have to have plenty of things in your in the back and load the car a lot, and not if you have to tow your boat and stuff like that. Then it's not perfect. But the purpose of this car is a city car where you drive, say, an average of between 50 and 100 kilometers a day in normal time. In the winter you have to reduce it with maybe 25%. So this car cost new in Norway when it came out 25,000 euros. In 2015 there was a lot of competition. The e-Golf was there, the Leaf was there, the Teslas was there, and now they have to reduce the price, and this came down to 15,000 euros, what is probably one of the cheapest in the world because we don't pay tax on electric cars. And now you can buy an iMIV in 2020, a 5-year-old iMIV, or a Peugeot Ion or a Citroën C0, same cars, for approximately 5,000-6,000 euros. Maybe they have some kilometers on it, between 50 and 80,000 kilometers is normal. Is it a good buy to buy? Yes, because it costs nothing to run, and that's the point. You plug it in your socket at home, and this may be used a year let's say a month, because it's different in different countries, but maybe we use 25 euros a month on this in electricity. We have a Tesla Model S, and that of course use a bit more, but not so much more, because it's of course the use that you calculate, not how big the battery is. So this has an 80 kilowatt hours battery. It's enough for 100 kilometers in the summer if you drive carefully, not like me. I have quite a heavy foot, and in the winter 60-70 kilometers. So if you want to be as cheap as possible and wanting an electric car that is still okay to use, and that the quality is still good, and that everything is okay, then it's the i-MiEV from Mitsubishi. So it's a brand with a renommee. It's a good brand, Mitsubishi. The degradation of the battery, I don't feel so much degradation, and this has like almost 60,000 kilometers, no rust. There's nothing wrong with this car. So if you would buy this used, maybe for 6,000 euros, you would drive it 2 years and sell it for 4,000 euros. So you use maybe 1,000 euros on price degradation, but when it comes to use, it's going to cost you almost nothing. There are a few tricks, and that you have to watch out when you buy those cars. Of course, it's the rust. Mitsubishi, they didn't give it a rust treatment, so if you don't deliver it to a proper car dealer that do rust treatment, or if you don't do it yourself, it's gonna rust and it's gonna look like shit. So you have to think about rust, and you have to think to check the brakes, because with electric cars a lot of people are driving like the one pedal system. They just push the throttle and lift up the throttle so they can recuperate energy, and then don't use the brakes enough. So now today you see it's sunny, so I put full regen. So the engine, the gearbox is braking for full, so I get as much as energy back in the battery. But when it's raining, I put it on minimum, so that I have to use my brakes more, and now you're gonna have less problem, because if you don't brake enough, your brake's gonna rust, and you have to change the whole disc much sooner than calculated. And like a disc for this car, like a pair of discs, it's 500-600 euros, so it's not that cheap. Because the car is very light, tire consumption very little. You can do 40,000 kilometers with a set of tires. So here we have 2 sets of tires, the winter tires and the summer tires. So maybe 1 or 2 years I'm gonna change the tires, because for me, if the tires from it's 6 years old at the longest, I just change them. People that are driving with tires that are made in 2010 and they still have it on their car in 2020, they don't know what they're doing, because you have zero grip. So this is for the price, about the cheapest car I can think about. And we drive electric now for the last 5 years, and I have a lot of friends have electric cars, so I think I know a bit about electric cars. Of course, you find in this price as well Nissan Leafs. The problem with the Nissan Leafs in this category, 50 like 5, 6, 7,000 euros, they're probably imported from the US, and then they don't have the specs that the European cars has. It has to do with the navigation, you can't use it. It has to do with heating elements around the battery, because here in Norway we have a specification that calls the winter package, and then the battery, it's keeping warm in the winter and a few stuff like that. So the US models are cheaper, if you like to hear it or not, that's the fact. And of course in a Nissan Leaf you have those 12 bars, and if you only have 9 bars left and it's the max loaded, then your battery is went down 3 bars. So of course you pay for what you get. The Nissan Leaf, building quality, fantastic car, nothing go wrong with those cars. But the Nissan Leaf and the BMW i3 has the cells that are very unstable in the battery, and you have to fix it a lot of manual, and they are not so good. So Nissan was very early in electrifying cars, so probably they fix it now. But from my experience, like I said again and again, you want to come in the EV market, you need a car that can do everything you need, that has electric windows, air conditioning. You can put a washing machine in the back with the seats down. You are 4 adults sitting okay, and you want to spend as less possible money as you can. There is nothing that's gonna beat the iMIV. So give me some suggestion, give me some comments. What could beat the Mitsubishi iMIV, the Peugeot Ion, and the Citroën C0? They are the same car, yeah, for 99%. So give me an argument. Which car is cheaper, and don't come with brands that are only making these micro cars. When you crash with them, you're dead. That's not an electric car. An electric car is a car that you can start calling a car. Of course, if you go up with your budget, if you're looking for cars around 8,000-9,000 euros, maybe 110,000-120,000 euros, then you have a whole new spectrum. And the e-Golf is coming, and the Leaf 30 kilowatt hour it's coming, and a lot of cars. So I'm talking about the people that I know some, they just want to use as less as possible on a car electric. It's gonna cost you less than a bus ticket in a way for a month, right? So I just have to calculate and help my friend that wants a car just for 1 year, and I told him, you know what, I have a car for you that's gonna cost you less than your bus ticket, and that's gonna be my next challenge. Please follow, subscribe, and we'll talk next time.